Hi Naveen, how are you?
Hello, hi Priya.
Hey,
Doing good.
nice.
I hope you're doing good
Yes,
today.
I'm also doing good. Uh, I think yeah, a couple of weeks back when we have connected, we were discussing about the stocks from the major list that we discussed previously. And then we said that we're going to make the list here in this page, and then we'll go through it so that we can come up with our list of 15, 20 stocks, which we will like to connect and discuss together. This page is already updated from my side. I also added these stocks into trading view watch list. So which means that we actually can make a trading view page where we will be able to use this and see all the company here, and we can also, if we want, we can also track the financial performance and other part of it. Yeah. um,
Public or
it's public. I make it public, which mean that even you can see the same. Yes, even you can see the same if you have the link. Interestingly, one of the major thing which I get to know later is that when you scroll down, you'll be also able to see the news for the same, which mean
okay.
that if there is any specific action happening, you'll be able to see the same. And I think it is good, yeah, because for all the list of company that we want to care about, if we can see the list of news also at one place, it give us more confidence, and we can then stick to one single platform for all the informations. Yeah.
Mm,
So this is good. This is what I found it pretty helpful. um, if in future we will like to add more or remove something from this list, I think that will be fine. I will be able to update the list. Okay. um, Agenda wise, what I want to discuss today is, if you have gone through this list already, then we also would like to discuss it in detail again. We cannot cover everything. I think there is again 50 odd stocks in the list, and I know that we cannot go through all the list. So we can take any five, whichever we decide to. Okay, we can check that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it will be
yeah.
better if we can choose of multiple sectors, so that we will be able to also look in deep into each type of sectors, right? I mean, if you're looking for chemicals, then take only one. If you're taking defense, then take only one, something like that. Second
Mhm.
part, I would like to go with the candlestick patterns, because I have a feeling that also that, like we were discussing last time, that there are few parts of the learning where I think if we also go through the technical aspect of the charts, it also do help us. For example, if we open a chart of Reliance, I mean, this is a plain chart, and we all know that this is how a general chart of a daily time frame look like. But do we actually understand the up and down and other aspects of this chart pattern or the candlestick? Because sometimes these charts speaks to us, and uh, it will be good if I can cover some of those aspects also. And easier part what I have did is, this is a list of all the patterns that I can find at one place. But also I have of course, with help of AI, I have also identified a list of patterns and candlestick, which we can discuss in detail. And I also have added some details on top of it so that we can discuss what are the things that might be interesting to us. Yeah. So I updated
Okay.
the same sheet here. We will going to use limited time today, so that I think we can be specific to this topic. Yeah. So let's start. Do you have any stock which you like to discuss today?
Uh, Insurance stock. Let's cover the insurance stock. This
Okay,
HDFC Life and SBI Life you added, right?
I think so. Insurance, these two. Okay.
Yeah. So the insurance stock, or I mean, at least my perspective, are good for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
But all these discussion I mean, the analysis that we are doing for the short term, right?
Yeah.
So I feel HDFC Life and SBI Life. If you see, open the chart. Let's go through the charts as well. How much returns it has given? Because
So SDFC Life,
yeah,
this chart, okay, in trading view, I think, yeah, even I think this has started from 2017 end. So this chart has been, yeah, not like a very successful chart, I can say, because it started somewhere at 300. Now it is about 600, 700. Plus, it has a lot of up and down. And if I compare the same with SBI Life,
SBI Life is have at least given good return.
yes. So something which is started at 700 is at 1700.
Yeah.
But if you see, both has doubled in past 8 years. Which
Correct.
yeah,
The insurance stocks are good to have it in portfolio, but the analysis which we are doing for the short term gains, right? We are looking for
yeah.
percent or 100% within the stipulated time when the market gets corrected. But when the market gets really corrected, insurance stocks will not go down.
Okay. Um,
Corona downfall, no? Let's compare the how much downfall we got during the corona.
so
Even we can see ICICI as well. ICICI.
yeah. Um,
So what we can do, we can keep it as a last option in the chart in our list. This insurance stock.
yeah.
And also there are so many regulatory things. Recently, have you seen that they have increased the foreign direct investments to 100% now? Means foreign companies can directly open its own individual entity
Mm-hmm.
in
Okay.
India. Um, the competition might increase. That is on down the line. Down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Before there was only 75%. Like foreign company should have 75 and 25 Indian company in order to um, do the business, insurance business.
Okay.
Increased to 100%, but there are no new incoming players into the market anyway so far, even though they have increased that. And also there is a price sensitivity.
Mhm.
If you at least our Indian market, right? They cannot keep the premium so high, and also right, insurance, how people think they will think it as a savings product.
Yeah.
So if you ask them for the term insurance, definitely people will ask us, okay, how much returns I will get. If I say you will not get any returns down the line, then many majority of the people which I interacted, they say that no, I'm not interested
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
So see, insurance stocks are good. Only my point is what I'm about to tell is at least for this, the peak which we expect after the downfall is right. We don't we might not see much returns in the insurance sector. That's what my point is.
Okay. If I compare it against Nifty performance over the same period of time for SBI Life, it looked like Nifty has always outperformed these stocks. Even if you see here, Nifty has fallen
Uh,
less, but SBI Insurance has fallen more. So the general theory says that if a stock fall more than the benchmark, it means that when it will rise, it will also rise less than benchmark.
okay, okay.
So a strong stock usually fall less. Okay,
Okay.
and how I can compare? Let's take MRF. Okay, so this is MRF. Okay, and see this one for a longer time frame. You see Nifty performance and MRF
Oh,
performance is way different, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so these are a few of the things which, and in short term, of course, the performance is comparable, but in longer time frame, this looks better. And but
Mm.
if you compare, okay, not bank, but if you compare with Reliance, sorry, Reliance, you can also see the same that these companies perform better, you know, much better
Mm.
compared to NSE, compared to Nifty NSE. So if you wanted to compare it against insurance company, yes, you are right. But then the another point is that also the time frame is pretty less, you know. So there may be a chance in future that these company can get uh, better valuation in future.
Yes, of course. Government, they have already brought up this one, right? Insurance for all by 2047. I don't know how much execution will be successful, but 2047, they are expecting insurance for everybody, all Indians.
Which
If,
means that no, but
hmm,
there's a problem.
if,
Which mean that everybody has to pay premiums.
correct,
At the moment,
correct. Yeah.
tax paying people are about how much? I don't know, 5 crore, 8 crores, right? Eh, yeah, somewhere 10, let's take 10, but out of 140, where if you wanted to even exclude kids, then it will be at least 100 crore. So for 100
Mhm.
crore people who actually need health insurance or something like a life coverage plan, and who do not really pay income tax or a direct income tax, to add them into this particular system require governments to put their own money. They will not give money, right? Otherwise government has to make some compulsion out of it that everybody must take it or something like that, so that itself is a government
Mhm.
plan. So
Yeah.
if it is a government plan, then government expenditure will increase and company performance may not increase. You know what I'm saying? Government will
Mhm.
use its money to give people some free services,
Mhm.
or a rebated discounted services, and then
Mhm.
that particular money will be an cost to the company who is implementing the same. So if SBI is the
Yeah.
company which is
Like,
giving, or LIC, yeah, they're giving the services, then there's a liability for them.
mhm.
Only reason when these company can go up, that's what happened in Corona, is because first the education and in general people are getting more aware that they need insurances. So the growth in this sector has come. Plus there are only few players, so everybody who wanted to enter into the sector, they actually has put a lot of money into it. But now if
Mhm.
we have to see like how many more people will get into this, I also have a doubt. So I agree to this point that this kind of company may not grow in the same pace as any other sector which is in a growth cycle will
Mhm.
go up.
Yeah.
But yes, we can debate because there may be a outperformance in future, for because someday or the other Indian healthcare has to get aligned with world healthcare, right? For example,
Mhm.
in Europe, everybody has a healthcare system. Everybody must pay it. There is nothing called
Mhm.
as free government hospital or something like that. But
Okay.
to implement the same in India is difficult because the system is already working. It's not like in Corona the system collapsed, right? Even the diversity in the system itself has saved India, where people and the small doctors in a small town and villages, or small yeah, not even doctor, sometimes some kind of therapist, compounder, they even uh, do have subscribed and given medicine to the people, do help people to get recover from all those side effects of Corona. So in India, if I have to say, other than working class, if people really need an insurance, I doubt, because those who want to have, they go with LIC anyway,
Mhm.
right? So why I or you, other than I mean, if we are agriculture, if we are a farmer, or if we are working with an as a shopkeeper in India, why would I go and I will buy a SBI life insurance? I may buy a term insurance but not a life insurance, right? So all these things And there are a number of competitors, as you said.
Oh, there are 40 around. I have checked it last time when I was doing some research on this HDFC and SBI, right?
Yeah,
I was able to choose any one thing for long-term portfolio.
yeah,
There were around 40 insurance providers,
yeah,
more than 40 plus.
yeah,
And even recently, Bajaj Allianz, right?
yeah.
Allianz is coming out from Bajaj and they are partnering with Jio.
Mm-hmm. Ah, that's also a big thing.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So if you see from the long-term perspective, it's good to have some insurance stocks, life insurance
Yeah.
stock in the portfolio. But for us, I feel like to put it at the end maybe.
Yes, I would like to, I mean, in comparison to this discussion, I would like to say if I have to play with healthcare, then I will better invest into those company which are into diagnostics or in hospital.
Okay. They are growing a bit faster.
Yes. So I think,
This is because the price competition, right? When we buy the insurance, we compare between the insurance providers. If
mhm,
we see a little bit less premium, we try to buy the from the company which is providing less premium, right? So
mhm,
competition is also high. They cannot keep the high margins.
yeah. Plus,
And,
plus it's a business of insurance, which is like always slowly increases. It is not a multi-bagger kind of thing. If you're investing your 20-25 year of your investment into it, then maybe you're able to make good return out of it. But
mm,
um, for the plan that we were looking, I think uh, we can only buy these companies if they're discounted pretty much. For
okay,
example,
okay.
if Nifty has fallen and if they fall by 50%, for example,
Mm,
they fall, for example, this stock, right, SBI. So if, yeah, let me remove this comparison because that's not needed. So if it is currently at 1500, if it comes till 1000 or till 800, then that's a good bargain because then we can
mm,
say that it can be 3 times to 4 times, 5 times in 5 years. That's a good choice. But if we say that these companies do not fall so much, and if we have other opportunities which is more lucrative in nature, then I would like to stick with those opportunities for now.
okay.
And hospital, I think I have hospital in my list or not. I think so, yeah.
I
See, I have
also.
Dr. Reddy, Lal Path Lab, Privi, Narayana, and Natco. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me any name, I will open that.
Okay. No, insurance like finalized thing.
Okay. Um,
We are done with.
I feel let's skip insurance for now.
So if we need to keep one stock, then we can keep SBI like maybe.
Maybe, but I would
Yeah.
like to put it as a second choice, assuming
Okay.
we have no other option left, then we will go with
Mm.
insurance.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will put a comment like
Yeah.
we we will add insurance
In
stock.
my portfolio, I don't have multiple, but I
Yeah.
SBI. I have ICICI Lombard and ICICI Life Insurance. These three insurance sector I used these three for long term.
Nice. And when you
Yes,
say,
I'm coming out. So I just did some analysis. We came out of HDFC Life recently.
well, that's also one of the benefit. That's also one of the
Mm,
benefit of all this practice that we
mm,
are actually identifying good stock. We are iterating through its success and failure, and then we decide also whether it is good enough to be part of our portfolio. Because if you want to go with a multi opinion in India, whether people do need insurances, I believe no, because there are lot many people who are working not with the same IT job, because in India these kind of instances are used mostly by those people who are either have critical illnesses, or a family history of
mm,
critical illnesses, or those company which get benefits from the employer.
mm,
So in either of the cases, I can say the number is very very less until unless there is a habit within people that they wanted to buy a life insurance, wanted to invest into it, or government force with a law or something. Until that is
Mm,
not been given, I don't think that's going to work. So there's something called a social security scheme, which mean that
mm,
you actually been part of the government policy, social security, and if something happen, the government will take care of you. At the moment in India, it's not going to happen, right? Neither I
okay.
mean, there are multiple other way of retirement like EPS schemes and other things, but those are a
Mm,
bit different than insurances. They're mostly like retirement plans. So
yeah, working people, right?
yes.
But see, I mean, the education percentage is getting increased, right? People find a job and they will buy the insurance.
It is the normal growth, right? So if I would say I mean, how many people are getting added into the workforce yearly,
Mm,
that much increase is possible.
okay, okay, correct, correct. If we want to get like more number, then everybody should get the insurance,
Yeah.
not only the workforce
Yes.
who are joining to the workforce. So,
Yes. Or the
mm,
other way is that there are less people who use insurances, like they just take it but
mm,
don't claim it. But if you see actually in IT, people who take insurance, their first motto is to use it.
mm,
Otherwise they don't take it, right? So
mm,
uh, insurance is a lucrative sector to me, but when I have so much other flavor of choices,
ah,
I would not
that's
like to
something.
have it
Mm,
in the 15 or 20 stock that we are planning.
mm,
But then we can revisit, right? That's what I have added. We can
yeah,
revisit here. If we get nothing else, we will come back. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and before going to hospital sector, we can
Yes.
discuss on these battery, both Exceed Industries and Amar Raja.
Yes.
Alerts and I'm just reviewing daily whatever the news I'm following the news related to Amar Raja and Exceed. So
Are you following through news or you?
no, Google
Yeah.
Alert.
Yeah. No, but why you want to follow an news-based activity in your system? Is it because you have some, because you believe that if you follow a news, then you will get better prospect of a problem?
No, just to see the latest updates happening.
Hmm. Because why I'm saying this is because I have a feeling that all the news that we see actually is been planted. Yeah. I mean, uh, I will come back to this specific point when I go to the candlestick discussion today. Okay. But my
Okay.
point is
Hmm.
there are two type of players. One who are a retailer and other who are institutional players, right? Those
Mhm.
guys who are institutionally working here, they make money, they play in volume, they are actually the players. And we are running behind or walking behind those guys, right? You
Mhm.
can be against them and you can be with them based on the direction they are working. For example, if a stock is falling down, maybe I'm buying. So if I'm buying and falling stock, then of course I'm against them. And when it is going up and if I'm selling, I'm again against them. So more or less, the price, how it goes up or the price, how it goes down is something which has been driven through more logics than news. And these guys have capability to make news available to us.
Mhm. Okay.
And I would like to remove the noise as part of analysis. Either we do fundamental, a pure fundamental thing, either we do technical with fundamental so that we have a vision of what a company can do and is doing with ethical part of it. And then we say that if we think these two are aligned, then we will look for news which can support our analysis.
Okay. But for example,
Yeah,
Amazon batteries. They recently announced that Gigafactory, right?
yeah,
Something bigger. It's like India's biggest Gigafactory, but for their battery, lithium-ion
yes,
battery manufacturing.
yes,
So that kind of news, development news for any company, so it's
yes.
good to have it in our bucketed while analyzing so that
So,
we will get a future
okay,
picture.
okay, but I have one question behind that. If a promoter know that he is making a new factory which can increase his production and the supply to the customers, and if that increases the earning of the company, and in the end if that increases the price of the stock, why he would why he would not buy the stock now, and he will wait for the earning to come? If I own a company and if I know this, I'm doing something good, why I will wait for that to come? Because I have access to all the conference call before I do the conference call, right? Even though I can be obligated with some rules, but the point here is that the news comes out just because either it is part of the compliance or it is the part so that the players can play. And that's what I'm saying, that the news are there. I mean, I think when that news come, do you remember that Gigafactory news of Excite? Um, Let me see. I'm googling it in parallel. 14th November or in December somewhere. So Excite to commercialize lithium ion cell by FY26. Okay. So the news has come, but if you see, that has no impact on the falling of the stock, right? That actually has no impact. Even I also added a point here says that it have received Hyundai EV contract. But my point is that all those news are fine, but those news sometimes have no impact on the maybe it has impact. So I am seeing a news of 14th of November, and if you see on 18th it has started going up, but then again it falls down. So the news has been used to go up and then comes down. That is the part of the bigger short selling. So my whole point here is that, and the second news comes with Honeywell. I don't know what they're doing on 19th December. 19th December. Um, yeah, nothing actually. So there's no impact of all those news. So the news are there for awareness so that we can make plan. Second, the news has come today, which mean that the development and the real production of that particular activity will happen in future. So if we wanted to really follow something, I will suggest that we should go and follow the conference call updates, and we can do that
Mm.
pretty easily in Screener, because there,
Yeah, yeah.
there the real investors, the promoter, will be able to actually present themselves that what they have committed previously and how much they have been able to achieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's try to avoid this noise so that we can
Mm-hmm.
focus on something specific. And um, and I can tell you for sure, whatever happened in this Excite, right, this particular rise has come first, and then there will be a news. That's how it works. So those smart player get access to this particular information before us, before it comes to Economic Times or somewhere, and then they play, and then we get to know, and then the last leg of the bull run, we or somebody like retailer will get into it, and then there is a possibility that they dump uh, the stock to us. Yes, and I will come back to this because there's a way to analyze these things. Okay, so I will suggest that first of all, we cannot really believe on news for sure, because it's in public domain. Everybody knows about it. So if everybody knows, then there's no edge. Second, if everybody is making money, then it's not a real money.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a zero sum game where somebody loses, somebody gains. And big player only gain when they are on the minority side, which means that there are more people who are losing and less people who are gaining, right? It is more like a casino, right? Not everybody can win, so more people has to lose so that one guy or two guy can win.
Correct.
So
But yeah, you are right, Prem. I think for the short term analysis, no news doesn't make any sense. You are right. Because you see, even though if I got to know that factor news or something, right, development they are doing, by the time that gets completed, it might take 2 to 3 years, and the
Yep.
profit they get are after 3 years,
Yes.
4 years down the line.
Let
If you think the company from the long term perspective, yeah, that's good to go through. But for this analysis, I don't think because we are swings, we are checking for the short term swings, right? So
Yes.
that's what our main goal here. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got your point.
And understanding of a sector, what company is doing is different than news. News is
Mm.
more like what you did today, right? So you wake up, you take a bath, you went to
Latest
office.
update.
Yeah, latest updates.
Yeah.
It's more like a
Almost.
face. Yeah, it's more like a Facebook feed or a Google article. But that doesn't
Yeah.
really always need to be specific to a business. For example,
Mm.
if a promoter went to a holiday in Maldives, it can be a news, right?
Yeah.
But it may not make any sense to us, right?
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
but let's come back. So Exide or Amaraja are two probably the strongest player in battery,
Yes.
and that's also
Yes.
one of the reason.
Oh,
Yeah, both actually. And I also
yeah.
was doing some analysis, and I do find that there are more players, okay, like Tata and others, who are actually
Mm.
making their inbuilt EV factories,
Yeah.
because these are the major component for electric vehicles, and no company wanted to have dependencies on other players. Even though Amaraja or Exide are old and mature player, since there are a lot many opportunities for new companies, they're actually making these things, right? So the only way these are supplier, right? Amaraja is not making their own electric vehicle. I'm thinking that way. So they're suppliers. These suppliers are only getting money when they have a strong partnership with a bigger player,
Mm.
right? Then only other than their current business, which is anyway growing, if they wanted to really make good money out of this EV story, then they need to have a better partnership. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, because I have seen that I have taken last year top selling EV models. Okay.
Mhm.
Out of that, whatever the batteries are manufactured, none of them from these two companies.
Yes.
Top 10 for top 10 cars of the previous year,
Yeah.
these guys are not supplying batteries for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're building their own, or they outsourced it from different companies to do
Yes.
that. Even Maruti Suzuki also. Yeah.
Yes. And if you say, can a company can make its own electric battery? I think they can, but it will be easier and cheaper for them if they use a mass supplier like Amaraja or Exide.
Ah, correct.
So
Correct.
we want to stick to this fact that these company
Mm.
always have dependency with other customers, and their supplier, they're more like B2B, and we wanted to anyway part of this journey because we believe that when the growth will come in EV, in general, not only EV, but whenever the Exide or Amaraja business will grow, that time we believe that the growth will be enormous. Okay, there can be two-wheeler, there can be four-wheelers, there can be maybe other mode of electrification which can use these batteries anyway, maybe like uh, inverters, I don't know. But my point is that there are many more forms where a battery can be used in a house, in a household, as a household product, right? So the point here is that it's a good sector. We know, we also know that these companies will survive mostly, more or less. Only problem is that, is it a good price to buy? We don't know yet.
Mm.
But what is the best part about this journey at the moment is that it has already corrected from the top, right? So if I see today from the high, it has already corrected about 46%, which is great, which means that it has corrected half from the top. So any stock which has corrected half from the top is a good stock, I think, because it already have good fundamentals. Plus now it is also corrected. So the if you say that tomorrow it will at least go to the amount it was before, that also will make it double, right? So if we get it much below that, maybe 300, 200, something like that. I think we should add it in our list until
Yeah.
unless we really find something bad about this company performance, something really bad happen. But I think these kind of companies do not really have because these are old company, right? They have been running for a longer time. If you see the history, this is at least in NSE, it has been there from 1995. So it's an old company and it's a multi-bagger anyway. I mean, a company which was even at 2008 crash, it was 85. Now it is at 300. It is doing great, right? It went to 600. So even if you see in 15 years, it has gone from 80 to 600, right? It is already a
But
multi-bagger.
no, historical for these two stocks, historical doesn't help us, right? See, until like 2000 or something, we had that lead acid batteries.
Yeah.
Correct. There were no lithium ion batteries now,
Yeah.
as we already discussed. So we are moving towards lithium ion now.
Mm-hmm.
So what if the amount, the cost for the battery is more, right? When you see all the auto components,
Yeah.
the battery itself costs more. So what if everybody prepares their own battery, manufacture their own battery? Then the profit for these guys will eventually will get down.
Yeah.
That is also one of the main risks.
There's a possibility.
But they have good distribution channel, but who knows? Uh,
True. Yeah. Okay, Nabeen. True.
so
Yeah.
there is a risky brand these two.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would like to still take the risk, Naveen, because
okay.
I believe, I mean, see, there is I heard this sentence somewhere that we cannot determine a risk without identifying a reward against it. So if I have to say what is the risk, then I have to also ask what is the reward if it happened, right? So, for example, in 2000, when Amazon was a small company, people were asking whether we invest in Amazon or not. And people were saying it's a small company selling books online. What is the future? But the reward against it was pretty high. So those who put money, seeing the reward, make more money. And if we are wrong, then we have stop loss. Right. So
Mm,
my point is that if we are wrong, then we know that we will not get ruined because we have stop loss. Plus, we are not putting everything in one bucket, one
mm,
basket. So it is anyway fine. I mean,
yeah.
uh, a thing which has high potential in India, because sooner or later, if if I have to decide, I would say in 30 year in India, there will be at least half of the vehicle will be electrified. At least half
Yeah.
because it is
Mm,
cost efficient. The infra, once the infra is ready, then these things will grow. I know
mm,
the battery has to be big enough to charge so that it can long last. The charging has to be fast, and we know that innovations are actually making those things happening pretty easily now, right? So in next 5 year, by 2030, I believe that technology will be very fast. And now nowadays the problem is no longer on the side that if it happened in US, it will take 10 years to do in India. It's not like that. The same company will implement the same in India with the same speed because you have everything else ready.
mm.
So even today, if I have to decide, I would say that these companies should be in our radar. We have to just decide when we should enter.
Mm,
That's the major point. And I think at the moment, these companies should be considered.
yeah.
So if I have to add it, I just like to say uh, can be considered for now, okay? Which mean that we are considering this. If
No, it one, two, something like that. Let's consider these two. Anyway, we have good.
Yeah, but out of these, which one will consider, or one or two will consider together?
Okay. Yeah, then finally we'll decide then.
Yeah, exactly. So whichever is considered will be taken together, and then we'll decide, right?
Yeah.
Because now we know that we're not going to discuss these two. These two are out of equation. So we now are happy people and we know what not to discuss, which is fine. So we discussed two industry. Another one, let's take one more.
Healthcare.
Healthcare. There are five different companies in my list for healthcare.
Okay.
Healthcare would be bigger one. I would like to have today's call short. Let's take
Power.
something. Power. I have power?
Why don't we have power companies here?
I don't know. I have Power India. It is not exactly power, but I mean to say Power India is a different group of company.
Yeah, HBV.
Yeah, Hitachi. And Hitachi already has been running in a bull run cycle previously, and now it is getting stabilized at a price. So I'm not pretty sure if it is good enough at a price to buy, you know. So,
Mm-hmm.
so we always should have this question in mind: Are we buying right, and then are we buying at right price?
Okay.
Because are we buying right can be true, but are we buying at right price can be false. The biggest example of it is Google. You know that, right? We discussed this in past maybe. Google is a good buy for you. Do you think if you get a chance to buy Google in 2000, you should have bought it? 2000, 25 years ago, if I would have given you a choice to buy Google, then you should have bought it. Do you think that?
In 2000,
If you would
yeah,
know about it?
mm, see, that time it was just beginning of the internet era, right?
Yeah,
2000. But I would have waited for at least 2005, somewhere around.
yeah, okay, that's fine. And I'm unable to find Google chart.
No, it should be INC
Um,
only, huh?
yeah, but I want longer chart before 2015. I want Alphabet.
Okay, that time we were not having.
Wait 1 second.
In CNBC it is there.
Yeah.
So ping you the link.
Uh,
I pinged you the link here. From
okay.
2004 it was there. It got listed in 2004, is it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Now, start.
Just tell me the name. I will not be able to open that link. But
Google GOOGL, just alphabet class A. Give alphabet class A. Just
class A.
yeah, alphabet.
Class A. Hmm. No. Um,
No, just open this link which I sent in the Google Meet chat.
okay.
It's coming from 2004. You got the link?
Yeah.
But I can't see your screen. But okay, I can see. Hmm.
Before that, it was not there.
Then Google got listed. Google got listed in the year. Only the company went public via IPO in 2004.
2004, it got listed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, uh,
Oh, it was around how much?
yes.
$3,
Yes. So,
almost 154 now.
yes. So let's take example of these stocks, right? Fine. So Google. So because I can't find much stock like this, but I was looking for some example where I can show something. Yeah, yeah. Just take Microsoft. Okay, maybe a similar example. So in 2000, Microsoft. I mean, if we see the chart like this, you know, then it look like it's a great company. It's going up, 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 and then it goes till 50, 60, and then it comes down. So this is a good company or a great company to be in, but not at a great price. So even though this has then corrected, it took time. How much time? 2000, the same price comes in 2016. So Microsoft
Yeah.
took 16 years to come and cross the high of dot-com bubble. And this is Microsoft. We are not talking about Hitachi here, right? So my point is something which is even a great business at a bad price is actually a bad investment for us. So let's not take example of any company at any price. We will buy, I mean, see, even if we buy somewhere at 2001, then it was about $28, which is still fine because even though there's a lot of time waiting period, but still you are not actually losing the money. I mean, you can always exit, right? So if you bought something at 30, you can actually sell it again at 21 and you can say, let me come out of it because of 30% loss. But if you bought something at 16 and then you wanted to come out at 30 or 20, it is a bigger loss. 50, 60% in capital loss is a bigger loss. Plus, if you wait, then this is a blunder. So my point is, um, we want we want a best price to get into the stock. Now I just tell all the story because I wanted to discuss about Hitachi in a weekly chart is already has did a fabulous run, right? Something which was of 100,000 become 3,000, and then something which was 4,000 become 15,000. So if I have to say in past 5 year, how much it make to 2021, if I have to save 20, yeah, let's take 21, then it already has make about good enough, right? See, from 1,200 to 16,000, how much time it is, right? So 12 times. So if a company is making that much big return already, to expect it to grow more is an expectation, but for a company to deliver is difficult. Maybe whatever the possibility of new earning that we believe the company will do in future is already compensated in this price.
Mhm.
So the price already hold those opportunities. Same with Tesla. I will tell you why. Between 2020 and 22, Tesla has from $22 it become 400, right? So this is a great bull run, 20 times bull run in 2 years. So there are people who are saying like, what happened to Tesla? Why it was never ever performing for such a long time, and suddenly it become from 20 to 400. And that moment, I had friends who were saying that they wanted to buy Tesla at this price. But I was saying the same that I don't wanted to buy Tesla now, not because it's a bad business, but because it's a bad price, right? And I was somehow right in this process. Even though this time also it tried to go up the previous high, but it actually did not been able to succeed. Even though everything is towards Tesla way, right? I mean, everything is on its direction. So even though now Elon Musk is not able to take it up, it actually fallen down from the previous high, which mean that if you are a guy who bought here somewhere at 400, um, and those are not less people, huh? For example, if I would say, see, there are people who actually has bought here, right? So those people will say like, hey, I am waiting for 4 years. I make nothing. The whole bull run has completed. Now Tesla is going up. Trump has come. This will go more than this. So those guys did not sell at this price. And again, down. downward fall has started on Tesla. So,
Mhm.
my whole point is that this is never a good price to be in. Hitachi is a good company, but I don't want to be in this price. At least I cannot see it becoming 12,000 to 60,000 in 5 years. When we say so much about thousands of price, then the best example that we have is MRF, right? See, this is MRF chart. Okay, it was at 12,000. You see that here? It was at 12,000 and 2013. Okay, it was never going that crazy up. It was always going slowly. You know, it is always correcting itself. It was always going like this. Plus, it's an exceptional stock, and that's the reason it has gone up. So every company will be like MRF. I doubt there are a lot of company which think they are like MRF, but that is not how market think about them. For example, Tata Communication. Okay, there has been lot of rumor around that the company which is about 400 in general become 2000 and it will again go up just like MRF has gone up. There's a possibility, right? But I was unable to buy at this price because, mm, yeah, you need to make that much growth also. So, but okay, this is just an example. So, Hitachi, a great company for me, but not at this price. And when I will change my mind, when this particular price will convincingly cross the top, which is 16,400. So that then we'll get to know that okay, it is becoming like MRF, it is going up, so we are fine, so we will going to buy when it's going up. Sometimes we feel like should we buy at the bottom or at the top, but sometime in this kind of chart we should not buy at the bottom because we don't know how much it can fall. Same with Microsoft, right? If a person would think that time that I will buy it only when it will cross the high, which is $60, then he would have saved 16 years. And then when it goes up, then he would have entered, right? So why to waste time and money just because it's Microsoft or Apple, just for the name? I don't know how the Apple chart look like. See, Apple was better than Microsoft if you say that way.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Apple in
That-
5 year,
that-
yeah, in 5 year it actually goes up. So if I have a choice that moment that I have to choose between Microsoft and Apple, why not? Even though we're not buying here, it's fine. But since it is Apple or Microsoft kind of big company, let it buy when it crosses up like this. So if Hitachi will do something similar, we will then enter, right? Or here, because we believe it's going up, or here. But we don't know how long it will fall. And not every company is like Apple or Microsoft, right? So we cannot really say this, that this will always happen. Okay. Coming back to the seat, I think I would like to wait for this price to correct or it to cross its high so that we actually then know that it's going up. Until then, let's hold, even though it's a good business. Yeah.
Okay.
So um, we'll wait to correct more. Okay, fine. So we discussed three. Um, you have this document with you. Please go through it. We will discuss again more.
We can make short.
Yes, yes, we can go. But I would like to go with candlestick today again, so that we
Okay.
actually come up with new ideas. Okay, and I also this is also something new. So I would like to discuss this. Okay, just tell me how good you are with candlesticks. Did you study that?
Not in depth. Initially, I studied a bit. Later, I thought, okay, let's take it later stage.
Okay.
When I fixed on that completely, right? So I thought to take it because we need to see that daily, right? So I thought that way, but I know basics, but not completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Hammer pattern. Uh, we can go through. I mean, if you have time, or else I will go through separately.
no, no, no. I wanted to go together.
Mhm.
Okay, I just opened Paint for a minute. Okay, tell me one thing. I'm just telling. Um, for example, this is a chart. Okay, this is going down. This is going down. This is going down. And then suddenly, if you see a candle going up, would you buy the next candle or would you sell the next candle? What will be your choice for the next candle if you have to really choose?
I wait for another day because already 5 days corrected, right?
Yes.
You will see if you wait for another day, you will see the clear picture. One more day.
So okay, your answer is you wanted to wait for another one day?
One day, yeah, correct. So I will see if the chart the next day also positive. If I get it positive the next day,
Mm-hmm. If it is positive the next day,
then I
then
will buy there.
okay. So you are saying if it is positive the next day, then you will somewhere buy here. There's a possibility that next day, okay, there are many more
We
possibility.
not saying about did that based on this chart pattern.
I know.
Amount in my mind and I kept the GCTs or something I used to buy. But yeah, just for your question, I was just answering.
Okay. There are more possibilities than this. The next day, it can again go down. The next day, it can be sideways. It can be something like this. Yeah, the next day, it can be like this, where it goes up, but it comes down. The next day, it can be like this. It
Happen.
started here, comes down, and goes up. The next day, it can be completely like this, overthrown what has happened last day, and then goes up or down, whatever. Or maybe next day it has just make a doji. So the possibility of what can happen is uncertain. What is known is what already has happened. Candlestick chart pattern just tell us what already has happened. And if we really understand what really has happened, there are two things: to know and second to understand. To know is pretty simple, that it was falling and it has now closed in green candle. But that is just knowing. Understanding is different. Understanding is it was falling and somebody was selling. But at this stage, at the last candle, whatever the guys were selling, he got trapped and he then close his sell position, which has triggered the buy position, and then it goes up. See, there are two ways to buy. Okay, maybe you know this, but let me. Um, what happened? Oh,
Okay, we'll go deeper in this.
yes, yes. I would like to go
Yeah.
deeper, but I just wanted to. Okay, let me add here only. Um, for example, when a candle goes up, and second, when candle goes down. My point is, it goes up when somebody buy. Okay, maybe I should have it here. It goes up when somebody buy, or second, when and this is something which I don't think maybe you have think so much about it. So let's discuss today. When somebody close its sell position.
When somebody sells a low, you sell one. Okay.
Let's take an example. Tell me any chart. I can open that.
VDL.
VDL.
Oh,
BDL, Bharat Dynamics.
VBL. VBL.
VBL. Varun leverage. Okay, fine. This is a daily chart, and let it be this way. That's fine. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, let's take an example. Let's take this one, this particular part. Okay, here to here. Okay,
Mhm.
it was falling down, but then it started going up. So something happened.
Hmm.
So just imagine you and me both are playing. Okay, and we just see this chart when this was already falling, like three candles already started falling, so we know that it's falling. So you put all your logic and you also sell because you believe it's falling, so it will keep fall.
Mhm.
And me as a guy, I say it already has fall, it will go up.
Hmm.
So this chart, if you see, it is not like it open here and it closes here. It doesn't really work that way. In a day, it open here, it comes down, then it goes up, then it again comes down, then it goes up, and then it closes. So there is a way which happen in a day, which actually going to make all this change happen, right? So
Hmm.
that's why we have seller and buyer both in a same trade and on a same day. Even though it's a selling, you may say, right, who are the idiots who were buying in this day? They're not idiots. They are the guy who believe that this trend will change from this point. But they
Mhm.
also get wrong in the end of the day, and that's what the chart says. But if you are selling, then you are happy, right? So assuming you see this chart and you are very happy, you make some money. Next day you say the same thing. It was falling for the first 4 days, so I sell the fifth day. It's already falling, it will again fall this day, and I will then going to and then you're going to sell it again. But I will say that whatever I did yesterday, I will do the same, because we two are just simple guy. So when you sell this time, I buy this time. For me, I am right and you are wrong. But when you are wrong, you have to close your sell position. Just like I did yesterday. When I bought it and I got wrong, then I close my buy position. That's why it becomes sell. So if you remember in kite what happened, you do buy and then you do sell anyway, right? So when you do sell, it's a sell order. It's never like close or something. You do, I mean, just think about transaction. You making a sell order when you close your trade. So it's a sell. If you have to say at a moment how many sell order are sent, then the trading terminal doesn't really know that you are closing your position. It just says, oh, he's sending sell order, so let's sell it. You already have, that's why you sell it. It's a different problem. But when a price goes up, so in this case, just you say you sell here at this price, okay, it goes up, but it's going up, so it's going against your trend, and you have a stop loss. This trend hit your stop loss, and then you come out of the trade because your auto buy order is triggered. That's a stop loss order. So this trigger another buy. So there are a guy like me who is anyway buying, but there's another guy like you who is also buying because you are closing your sell order, which increase the trend, whichever it is. So the same logic happened yesterday and the same logic happened today. If you see this one, the same was happening here. But this day, whichever the guy was selling, he completely, so anybody who was selling this day or this day maybe, but this day specifically is completely been overtaken by this chart, this candle, because this has opened here, it comes down here. So this guy got confidence that, oh, it's getting falling down more and more, like 3 days, so he expects something like this to happen, right? But then the opposite force taking it up, and then it goes so high that whichever the previous day high was, it closes above that. It even goes above it and then comes down, which means that all the stop loss of this guy, whoever the seller was, into this day is completely been triggered.
Mm.
So all his sell become buy, and that's why it become up. That's why whenever a reversal happen, it's not because buyer comes and people buy. It because those who are selling got trapped, and then those guys are on the opposite way and they started running, and that's when they do uh, quickly closing their position. That goes against their way, and that increases the amount more. Now why I'm telling all this, because when we say that it was green and then next day it goes up, then you buy, it's a right decision, because all the guys which are selling here got trapped, and this candle actually make them trapped. So next day when it's going up, all the guy who is sitting here, he was assuming, he said like, I'm a big guy, I will handle all the loss of this candle. But next day when it goes up, even he will not be able to sustain his position, so he has to close it, which trigger it more towards up. And maybe this guy also will say, I'm also making now loss, it's going up, let's close it. Right. So all the guys who are getting trapped will close it faster. That's why whenever a trend change, it changes faster. For example, here it was making no position here. Okay, maybe not. This is not a great example. Let's see. Yeah, this stock is not so dynamic, right? It is very plain. Let's take something where it is more dynamic. Let's take Reliance.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take any example. The game is played everywhere. Same. This part. Okay, I just took randomly. From here, it goes up. How much candle it took to go up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Took 12 candle to go up. It took 2 or 3 candle to come down. Because all those guys who are keep assuming it is going up, when this candle came, the first candle came, it actually triggered the stop loss for at least 5 previous candles. Right? So if you are a guy who has bought here, assuming, oh, it's going up, you are actually getting triggered, and then you have to close your trade, which you did, which actually making a sell order, which increases the intensity of selling anyway.
Okay, okay, let's take a pause. So, around 1400, whenever the positive momentum got started, what is the price of that?
Somewhere
First,
1490. Oh, this one?
no,
Okay.
the bottom.
1458.
Maybe after fifth one, after that fifth one, green color one. Yeah. Before
1485.
before that, okay. So people started putting the buy order and put the stop loss somewhere around. Okay, because of that it got increased. Okay, okay.
When,
Got it.
but yeah, but when the chart actually make different way, all these people,
Stop these people, right?
yes.
They will put stop loss on the 1495 or 149493 somewhere around. They will put less than that amount, right? Whenever they purchased 1460, consider they purchased 1460.
Mm-hmm.
There 1475.
Okay.
69.
Anyway, yeah. Okay.
So they will put stop loss less than for that amount, right?
Maybe less than, but when the panic selling will happen? Panic selling will happen when the price goes below their price, buying price.
Mm-hmm.
When you are sitting in profit, you may think, okay, I can survive, I can handle this. But when it goes against you, then you will have a moment when you will say, I cannot bear it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, yeah.
So, yes, yes. Why I'm telling this? This all can be learned through candlesticks. These are not just candlesticks. These are telling how the story has been framed for a particular moment. Okay. So the game can be anything. And there are different games. I'm also trying to explore a lot. But
Okay.
all these are part of candlestick learning. And everything, what I'm saying here has a story. I can give you, I mean, you just tell me a moment. I can tell you what story happened that time. I can tell you because the story is visible here. So knowing is one thing, that it was falling down, it goes up. But understanding what happened during that period will help us identify what really happened, what was the psychology for that person for that moment, why he really has to take that decision. For example, this one. Okay, let's take this one. Somebody C is falling for a moment and he was keep selling it. Okay, then there is a candle like this, which is more like a reversal candle. It was falling down, and it goes up. It actually kind of closes above the previous day high and even a day before previous day. But next day it opened up. It do a gap up opening, completely destroyed everybody who is here. Right? Now those guys are not like us. We're not talking about retail trader, okay? Who's buy something here and put stop loss here. They're not those kind of guys. They are putting stop loss really tight because they are doing leverage trading. They're also working on future and options. They're also doing a trading high volume. So they cannot really let the stop loss 25% down like us. Or leave that trade open for 2 years. They are not I'm not talking about those kind of guys. What how it started today. There are two kind of people, right? One institutional, other is retailer. Retailer are sufferers, leave them. They are mass following guys, they will suffer anyway. But institutional guys, when they get trapped, because there are multiple institutional players, and when one of them get trapped, then these actions matter. So here, when they got trapped and they get to know this, the next day they do not really wait for the chart to create it. They say this is anyway going up, I am not going to hold it. And they put an order before the day starts, say, do sell my, not sell, buy my sell orders. And buy my sell orders means close my sell orders. So close my sell order actually trigger buy order and it goes up. So if you or me understand this psychology, then we can make benefit out of it. Because then we can actually identify how it is happening. So we don't have to be always up here. For example, here, this chart, right? This is such a classical chart where we know that when this happened, the next day it started below, because we know that all the guy who were going up lose all the hope. So it actually goes down. So if we sell at this point, then we are really smart guy. We are just following the footprint of those smart guy anyway, but we're still a smart guy. And every reversal give opportunity. Now, why I'm telling all this? For us to know when this particular I can use the word, maybe I should use, when the recession will stop, we'll get to know only by candlestick. At least first by candlestick. Um, do you know that? Okay, before I go into what I wanted to say, see this weekly 2008. 2008. See, in 2008 it was falling, then it was keep falling, then it make a candle like this, and then it make a candle like this. So when it goes up again, right, like this candle, 23rd March 2009, whenever that happened, this candle actually has trapped people of past 8 month, sorry, 5 month, you see that.
Mhm.
So those guys know that all the guys are trapped, so they actually will come out of it as soon as they can. And that's the reason all these green candles has come, not because there's something important happening. It's just because the short covering is happening so fast that it is taking the price up, right? It is more like you already started the engine, you're already going at a speed of 80 kilometer. Now on a bike you press clutch, bike will not stop, bike will become free and it will go easily at the at the same pace, right? Because the engine is already fired, the the wheels are already rotating at the same speed, so you are enjoying the journey. So this is the moment when the things actually confirm us that it's not going to come back, because everybody who were part of this journey is already trapped. Now when I say trapped, they book losses, right? So they are the guys who make loss. Once they make loss, they cannot really again make a trend, the same trend like selling trend. They will wait until something similar happen when they can sort like this, right? So to know all these things, we need to know candlestick pattern, and these are pretty simple if you say. So when I was saying when candle goes up, when somebody buy or somebody close, it's sell position, and the other one when it goes down, uh, one second, when somebody uh, sell, and tell me the other one, what would be the second reason?
When somebody close by position.
Yes, and we're talking about somebody as bigger guys, yeah.
Export of the two.
Yeah, and I should use a stop loss as a keyword so that it makes sense. They're not doing happily. They are doing because they are trapped, right? Now, everything what I'm telling here makes sense, right? Now, there are multiple type of candlestick patterns which actually make some sense, like doji,
Hmm.
which means indecisions. Hammer,
The center one.
yes, hammer means reversal. There are two type of
Hmm.
hammer, bullish and hanging man. Sorry,
Hmm.
one hammer which is bullish, and then hanging which is not so bullish, but it is reversal candle again. Engulfing, which is more like completely eating the previous candle. Morubozu, which is more like completely having no shadow. Shooting star, inverted hammer, these all are reversal pattern. And morning and evening star, which is majorly what I wanted to focus. Maybe I can
Hmm.
discuss this later, next
Hmm.
meeting. But my point
Okay.
is that, yeah, please go through it because I already have added what is the practical approach, like hammer. So let's take an example of hammer. Let's see in Nifty if we have any. So what I'm looking now, I'm looking for a chart where either the bottom has been made like this or a hanging man has been made like this, and then we'll discuss the logic. Okay.
Hmm.
So, huh, see this one. You see this one or this one?
Hmm.
These two are nothing but hammer. What is happening? It was keep falling down. Before it goes up, it still tries to go down, but it was then taken up by the buyers against the trend. And those guys who were selling now believe that, oh, the intensity of selling is decreased because it has been covered the down position that has gone in the day. So it has recovered from the down, which mean that there has been some profit for the day, and the next day again the same has happened, right? So it was going down, but again the color is subjective, it's fine, we can ignore the color for now. But my point is, these two candle itself says that the reversal is happening. Those guys who are trying to sell, at least they're not been able to complete the selling position, right? And the next day when again it tried to go down, when it goes up, these guys who were keep trying to sell it down, they actually lose the control and the buyers kick in. So when you see a hammer and when you see the story at least till here, even you say you make no action on this day, it is fine. But because the next day you're enjoying, and this enjoyment is not small, okay? um, from this it is 4 to 5%. Just tell me, if I tell you that you can find 5% growth in a Nifty, how much money it can be in if you buy a call or something like that. So my point here is that this is pretty much known, but still people repeat this mistake every time because it's an emotional decision. Those who already have sold it, they have to do something like this, and those who wanted to take it up and they know that people are getting trapped, they will do all these things so that they people will get trapped and then the high can come up. So we have to look for opportunities. The other is this one, see this candle, this is nothing but hanging man, right? In this case it was keep going up, but then on the top you find a candle which is hanging man, which means that it started up, it goes down, then it comes up, and then it closes the same place. So those who are actually buying from here to here, including retail investors, they believe that we are saved because it doesn't really comes down, it is still up. But And those who wanted to sell, because they tried to bring it down right here, so they thought we will sell it, but still it goes up in the end of the day, so even the seller are trapped. So by this candle saying us that the seller is trapped and the buyer is overconfident that they are saved, which mean that the majority of people who are into this trading use case in this particular chart are actually happy, or and the seller are trapped. So the next day when it goes down, the same guys who invested in going up, who bought it, they believe, it will again go up. It didn't fall yesterday, it will not fall down. And those who wanted to sell, they will not sell because they already have hit the stop loss yesterday, right? So this moment when it goes down, the seller will not participate, the buyer will not sell, and the next day when it goes down, the buyer will panic, and the seller who believe now it is going down, they will sell more. So this will make it more stronger downfall. You're getting what I'm telling?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This story is completely different than what we discussed. Okay, but
yeah.
this is what happened in a day-to-day life. And if you try to break a chart into hourly chart or something as a smaller time frame, then you will be able to see what's happening. For example, let's take an example of mm, Nasdaq, and it has fall yesterday. If you see, and I will make it as a 1 hour chart. Okay, see, just think about this. Okay, assuming you open the chart and you see it already has fallen down, okay, and you say, I miss it anyway, but then you see that it is keep doing all this drama, and then you see a small candle here which we have not discussed yet, but you see something like this, and then you make no decision, okay, but then again you see that the candle try to goes up, and then it goes down, and then it goes down and down. But this is not what happened really. What really happened is, because this is a story that we can see on the chart, just seeing, understanding wise is it was going down, and then very soon after it loses its control because it was falling more, because there were many people here who got trapped. And when this action has come, all those guys are trapped, and then because of it, the concurrent falling has started. But very soon all these guys are getting absorbed in the fall, and the new guys entered, like you and me, and we who believe, it will go more down. They don't really understand why it will go down. They believe because it was going down before, but this will stop, and suddenly the distribution of the stock will happen here, right? This, it will not fall so much. It will kind of stop here and will kind of settle down at a price. It will go nowhere, and then to make a doji here, you see that, which mean that somebody tries to bring it down. Some seller tries really hard to dominate to bring it down, but again the seller take it up, and the seller again the next day take it up again. So the buyer take it up again. So the buyer is playing hard to make a base so that it can go up. But the next day, the seller again jumps in and he say enough is enough. And then they actually make a full Morubozu candle and taken up all the earning of the previous day buy. And then again the next day, if you see, the buyer actually tries to actually take it up. But by the end of the day, the seller actually bring it down. And when this chart has formed, it actually means that the seller is gaining control and buyer is losing hope. This is important, because when buyer is losing hope, then buyer will not take this kind of action again. And then you can see here that buyer is trying, but is not so much. It was not able to cross the previous day high or the high which it tried previously. And then it tries every day, but it becomes slower. And then for certain moment, the seller and buyer both get silent. And then the seller understood that the buyer has no energy left. It's more like a boxing match, right? You understand? In the
Hmm.
first round, people fight, and the smart player is not wasting his energy. He's saving the energy for the last round. So in the last
Hmm.
moment, the seller is actually then push it, and he waits and see, do the buyer has capability to sell it? And when he do this time, he actually has taken down all the guys who actually participated here, which triggered the sell again. But then the buyer says that I will do another last try, and he then tries the last attempt, which also take up. So all the new seller who actually would like to participate in the selling, because they see the picture like what we are seeing, right? They see the picture. So now they
Mm-hmm.
are trying to enter here. They will actually see, the buyer will try to make it up, and the buyer will say, let me have a fight again. But this time, when buyer will go up, those guy who have a stop loss here, they will get triggered. That's why it the buyer also have some green candles here. But very soon after, when the seller actually have entered, so this is the chart, this is the candle where the seller actually have restarted the selling. They actually have started the selling here. They have not let this green candle crosses this high of the red candle, which mean that the new seller who are kind of dominating and started the trend, they do not let the buyer make their stop loss happen, and they strongly crosses all the they strongly make all the selling in the concurrent candles, which actually kind of, and if you see this red candle, the buyer do the last effort to save itself,
Mm-hmm.
and thereafter the buyers say, okay,
Done. Yeah.
expecting the defeat. And then when this happened, I don't know how many people got trapped, but this thing is 2.5% trapped, and this is a day, okay, not even 2 day. It is between how much, just see, this is one day, this full is one day. So in a day it got down 3.5% on index level. It's a big number. So my point is that if we go through this like this, and if we really do practice, we can make difference. We can actually analyze a bigger chart pattern. Previously we seen for a day, now we are seeing for an hour. We can do for what we can do for 5 minutes, we can do for 1 month. Everywhere the logic is more or less similar, but the understanding is because you need to understand what each of the symbol means. It is more like traffic signal, right? When you see red, you
Mm.
stop. When you see green, you start. But you need to know, right? If it is green means
Yeah.
go and red means stop. So we need to really, really learn this thing. And that's why I put all this point here. I really
Okay.
encourage you that we discuss this again next week.
Mm. Now we will keep like 10 to 15 minutes to discuss the chart patterns then
Yes.
every time.
Yes. And some examples. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
You check the charts and you come back and you let me know what you understand, because
Yeah, yeah.
I have uh, a few ideas to check, but
Mm,
this is very subjective learning, because
mm,
it's not always the same. It also has to be discussed with the EMAs, right? Moving averages. A lot of time,
mm,
moving averages plays a crucial role. Then it also has to be checked against with RSI and MACD. So all those things I am trying to add into my analysis. Um, but I still think even I don't have a foolproof mechanism. There's nothing called foolproof, maybe, but
mm,
I have an understanding that how we can actually use this thing. But to use this, we need to understand what happened. And it is pretty easy to know what happened, but we need to really understand what has happened, because it is a story, right? It is more like a storytelling.
yeah,
You need to understand what a storytelling is. It's more like, if first half is done, if in a movie, if the hero get already everything, then you know that the trouble is coming. You know the villain has to enter now. It is more like that. But in the starting of the movie, maybe the good things, the romantic songs can still happen because the movie just
mm,
started. So for me, and this and people actually think this
uh,
is very basic, but actually
mm.
basic things only can make money.
Yeah, so see, one point which I got like here is that recession, coming out of the recession, right?
Hmm.
When something gets will happen, 2008 around, but they got the financial things what happened, right?
Yes.
Lehman Brothers, that was the main.
Yes.
Uh, right. So when people got to know about when exactly they will come out of, right? That is a good
Opportunity. Yeah.
good opportunity there. I mean, at least you know the green signal, right?
Yes.
What is happening, really
Exactly.
happening on the ground.
Exactly.
Starts.
Exactly. So when you see a
That's
Morubozu
the
here,
point.
yeah. So when you see a Morubozu here, if you really know what a Morubozu can do, then only you can take the decision on the next day.
Hmm.
If you see a hammer in between of a trend, it make no sense. But you will only know this theory if you know that in between a trend, if you see a chart like this, where a candle is in between, it make no difference. Reversal will only happen when it is either in the top or in the bottom, not in between.
Yeah.
But Morubozu can happen in between. This is star. Evening star can happen. It goes up, then it make a doji, and then it goes down. So this is evening star. If you would have seen these two candle, then you can say, okay, the next day if it goes down, then it's an evening star. And if it's an evening star, I know that it will come at least till the last day starting price, which is here. So this is too much. I mean, in a single day, again, 5% is coming down, right? Or it's a week anyway. But the point is that 5% fall is predictable here, which means that people can make money. And again, a Morubozu is there for down, and again the next week the Morubozu is again for the up, and the Morubozu is a reversal chart, reversal pattern, which means that the candle is actually saying that whatever you are trying to do it, the opposite has been done. So we have to find this so that when we are discussing in future, when the base has been made on a stock specifically, index is different. Index is okay, I mean we cannot find maybe, but if the base is being made on a stock, then we will be able to define that we are entering now. And that's the most important part. And I keep saying, right, that we don't know when to enter, and when to enter is only possible when we really understand this candlestick and other patterns. Just like see this weekly chart of Nifty, it make Morubozu last week, but this week it make a doji. You can predict that coming week, if it's going down from this point, and it can go down from this point, then it can actually eat up all the profit that has made in the last week. So if you have believed that, and if not everything, it will take at least something. So there's a higher possibility now, because we now know that this is how a chart works. So at least 3% downfall is possible,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah, maybe in parallel we will explore the different types of the I mean patterns, and we can see
Yes,
what will be the next future, like
yes,
week future, right? What we can expect, and let's in the next week we will discuss what exactly happened and how
yes,
we are different in
yes.
our analysis, maybe.
Yes,
Anything.
and please learn basic before the call, so that
Yeah.
when I say gravestone doji, then you know what gravestone doji means.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Just try to
Very
use,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, just try to use GPT if you need more information. But I try to add all those things here which makes sense. For example, if you see hanging man, if you are holding a long position and see a hanging man, which is this one. So if you are already holding a long position and you see a hanging man at the top of the uptrend, start reducing a position. So I'm just telling what to do so that we don't get trapped, wait for the next candle. If it is red, consider exiting or sorting with a stop loss above the high. So if you are seeing this hanging man like this, then I'm just trying to add what we can do. And if volume is high on a hanging man, it's a stronger reversal signal, right? An ideal trade, take profit early if the next candle confirm bearishness, so that you just come out of the trade and go short with the stop above the hanging man high. So these are more like best practices, these are more like rules. When we encountered something like this, then what to do? And we do not make the pattern, we do not make the candle. These candles are already made by somebody, and we have to just act. And we can be wrong, but let's not uh, because when we are in the ocean, then we have to know how whale sounds like, look like, how shark look like, so these are the different animal which we need to know before making a proper decision. And that's what I'm also focusing at the moment, because for example, Amaraja, you're telling about this, right? So this not Amaraja, Exide, you said, right, that
No, both.
Yeah, okay, but Exide is what having some news around. So Exide is falling down. Okay, fine.
Sure.
Okay, fine. But if you see here, we can see now that this particular pattern in 2024 mid, somewhere April, this has happened. And the major reason is those who wanted to sell has been bypassed, has been trapped. And because of that, it goes up. So there may be more people who wanted to buy, but there are equally number of people who wanted to also come out of their sell position, which also take it up. And when it goes up, I was waiting for this to discuss that on the top, it make another candle. And which candle is this? This is nothing but gravestone doji. You see this?
Mm.
So gravestone, you know what is gravestone, and this is mean that on a top of a trend, mostly a bull trend, a gravestone doji is made, which mean that this is going up. We all get bullish. We see the news. We get excited. We entered. We all discussing good things, and then suddenly there's a moment when this kind of candle happened, and the next day nothing happened. So all the guys who actually were buying, even buying here, they feel like, oh, I'm trapped. What to do? They're praying in the night that next day please goes up. And those who are selling also, just think about this. Those who are selling, they actually sell it so high. So I think those who are selling, they have not entered yet because it was such a strong bull run that they are not entered yet. They were somewhere outside. But when they see this trend, then when they see this candle, they think like, oh, there is an opportunity now. So they also come as a new seller. So the next day, you have no strength to buy because it's already overbought. Plus, you already have been trapped in the last day. You might have even hit your stop loss. You might even come out of the trade. There's a possibility. And the next day, it started falling down. So the opposite pressure has increased. The guys who wanted to sell and bring it down become more stronger. So we also, if we don't want to sell, is fine, but at least we should close our position and book the loss.
Mm.
So this understanding will only come when we go deep dive into this charts and discuss more and more. And all this is because of news. I will tell you one thing. You just tell me which. You see this bigger candle? Can you guess which day it is?
Date
Yeah. I will not tell the date. It is in June last year.
18th June 24.
No, no, not 18. It is 3rd June 2024. Which day it was? What is special on that day?
This one maybe PM announcement or something.
Election date. Result date. Sorry, result date. So the
Okay.
Lok Sabha result that has come that day. And because the early day trend says that BJP was losing or at least not getting the majority by themselves, the stock market got panicked and it started coming down. But soon after in the afternoon, when they get to know that, okay, at least NDA can survive, then they got up. So this candle is not a candle. We can now see, but every candle has a story to say. And then we understand that okay, it started falling, but it recovered itself, which means that it is now trapped all the guys who tried to sell it, right? Just think about it, why it going down? Because people who
Uh,
believe that it can go down, they actually try to
uh,
make it down.
they sold. They sold up the
Yes,
shares.
but they also get trapped because it goes up. And when they get trapped, they have no money or energy left to sell again. So then the buyers get in and they take it up. It's not tough, but we should have a mindset to understand what happened. So I cannot really guess what can happen tomorrow. But to know that, I would like to discuss at least 1000 use cases in my mind to at least
Yeah.
understand what happened. And I don't know whether you find it interesting, but I find it very interesting now. Because,
God,
yeah, because
there are
there are many stories behind, right?
people to make the money. If you think like 5 years, 10 years of 20 years, that is different altogether analysis. Then second one is the analysis that we are doing with the 15 or 20 stocks.
Hmm.
That is different analysis. And this one, right, if we want to make some real money within a week,
Yes.
this is a bit interesting.
But not only a week is important. My point
Yeah.
is, in 2008, if you wanted to capture the low 2009, then if you know this, then only you will be able to. Otherwise, you can buy here, you can buy here, you can buy here. How you will define when to buy and when not to buy? When you see something. Yeah.
Mm.
So what I'm telling is that yeah, recession is something very important that in our case, it is falling down. Just see this one. It fall down, then it strongly fall down, but it again trapped the seller. You see that? Because it actually somehow the buyer says that enough is enough. Plus, I think this is a global breakdown. So in 2 weeks, it broke 30% down. That's not possible in real world. So it actually recovered. But then even the seller got trapped and the buyer are anyway getting trapped. So this moment, everybody was trapped, right? So the next candle, at least buyers has no energy left. And the next day, buyers try to goes up, but again nothing has happened. It comes down. Then nothing was happening. And then very soon enough, seller understand that okay, they are not getting enough power to goes up, and they still break it down. And then the buyer says that okay, on that day you bring it down so much, I will go up now. So it tries to go also. But then soon after that, this is something called as piercing pattern. I will tell you later when to discuss again. This candle actually broke down again all the power of the previous stock, and you can see this now. And then it started going down again. So we have to also understand this because that will safeguard us before a disaster happen.
Mm.
So if I'm telling that in a month, if something is going bad, then also it is important for us to know that why it will go bad because there may be a pattern which we are ignoring. You know what I'm saying? So exactly, exactly, exactly. So this is not for intraday or not for 1 day, 2 day, or 1 hour. It is actually a knowledge which is must for everyone,
Mm.
at least for us, because I don't
Yeah.
want to say in the end that we didn't learn it because we don't find it useful. I think it is the most useful thing for us. You know,
Yeah.
it is more important than because it will tell you when the reversal trend is starting. It will tell you when to stop. It will tell you when not to take risk. Everything. I mean, just think about the moment it started. Three big green candles. I mean, if you see this, right? This is a type of candle. This one, there's a name for it. Um, Engulfing pattern or something. Yeah, this is engulfing only. Yet see this. So whatever the pattern you have, the red candle will eat it. It's engulfing pattern. So if you see here, there's an engulfing pattern. But then the next day, the buyer was so strong, it take it up again. So it means that the reversal candle has shown up, but the buyer has taken up. And then again, the evening star has been made. This is nothing called evening star. Okay. And this big candle actually eat up the profit of last 3 days or 3 weeks. It is such a strong candle. So thereafter, all the buyers are kicked out and the sellers kick in. So
Mm.
if we put the 200 EMA, then things become more easy to understand. But I would not complicate it today. But my point is that we need to understand this. And I'm trying to, I'm just taking all the time out to understand these things because I believe that if we understand, at least we understand what happened properly, then at least we'll be able to participate in this journey properly. And it's a lifelong
Mm.
journey, right? We can never say we are
Yeah.
done, but at least I would not like to see all this green blue and just assume things. Okay, that's my whole point.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Mm.
think we did good session today.
Yeah.
For next session we will going to continue this.
Yes.
Please go through this link so that we can have a more two-way discussion on
Mm.
candlestick. Plus we will
Yeah.
discuss more about the stock that we have discussed last time.
Sure. Sure.
You have any question before we close?
No.
Yeah,
Good.
was it
Yeah.
useful?
Yes, of course. Always, always.
Okay, cool then. Chalo. Thank you, Naveen. See you next time. Bye.